not surprised the NFL to do something like this. You know, that's how they got that political crap. They like they good guys and they not. But you know, Bad Bunny where's Bad Bunny from?
He's from Puerto Rico.
Keep his Puerto Rico. You don't want to. If you don't like the U.S., keep his ass over there.
Apparently, well, Puerto Rico is part of the U.S.
I know, but still, if you don't want, he don't like the U.S. I mean, don't come in and perform.
Eric Dickerson, a Pro Football Hall of Famer, is showing himself and his character. And look, we've seen this go mainstream.
The last thing I want to talk to you about is because I'm about ready to do my commentary on it. But do you think Bad Bunny is a good choice for the Super Bowl?
I'm not that knowledgeable about him, but it seems fine, and I don't know why it's a big deal. Seems like a great American artist, so sure.
He's not an American artist, but
he's Puerto Rican. That's part of America, dear.
Yeah.
From Tommy Lauren to conservative media as a whole, now Eric Dickerson can be added to that list, and folks just keep slipping up
because it's actually terrifying. It is like bone-chilling scary how many people who live in the U.S., like U.S. citizens, that don't know what land the U.S. has. It's like, I don't know what civics class or what, is it just geography? How are we failing the youth and the elderly? Like, it's like, because it's not like you can just blame it on the kids. Grown people also don't know. It's crazy. So if you are Puerto Rican, you are a U.S. citizen, okay? And that is also why when people were upset, they were like, why can't somebody from America do the halftime show? And look. Listen to me. The people screaming that are coming from a very specific place.
It is remarkable how education in this country is so far down the tubes. Nonetheless,
A lot of people, parents are kind of up in arms because some of his content's kind of adult.
Yeah.
He talks about partying, women, this and that. You know, what do you make of that? Is that okay?
Well, I mean, what songs don't? I mean, what about the rappers? I mean, you know, hey, like I said, I mean, I heard some stuff he said about the United States. So, you know, I'm from the U.S. I love my country. And if you don't like the United States, get your ass out here. Don't come over here.
Major barf, dude. Major. You heard it from Eric, all right? You heard it from him. If you just so much as critique this country at any time, anywhere, through your mouth, through your art, through a tweet, through a repost, through an article, you should leave. Maybe you should even get deported.
Do you think the NFL kind of puts this in place so people have conversations to make controversy? Because it seems like sometimes they might do that, right?
The NFL is crooked than the federal government, way crooked than the federal government ever be. So I mean, you know, I know the NFL is. They don't care nothing about their players, you know.
So corruption from the top.
Don't give me on
no,
that.
I know. We know that the elites all over are pretty corrupt, right? Money makes people corrupt. Right. Would you say?
NFL is ultra corrupt.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's true. You know, Bad Bunny says something about the U.S. You know, don't come here and perform.
Yeah.
You know, don't come here. You know, just stay in the country. I mean, I know U.S. Puerto Rico part of the U.S., but it's not the U.S. That's what I look at it. You know. That's what I mean. I just feel like that, you know, they get these performers and they say all this controversial stuff about the United States, like they hate the U.S. and all that kind of stuff. And if you hate the U.S., don't come here.
So there are many different ways to think about this, all right? The first is seeing what Eric Dickerson said. He had to be corrected by the TMZ reporter paparazzi person. It is quite clear at this point through all of this discourse that if you still go the route which is very bigoted, that you don't agree with someone, so they should stay in their country or leave the country. It's like Josh Johnson said, and I wanted to include that clip. We are failing from an education perspective. And may I say, it is intentional. They want to get rid of the Department of Education. They want to privatize education. They want private school vouchers because they want an America that only they can teach. Schools are underfunded. Teachers do the task and then realize that they can't support themselves. They have to buy school supplies for their kids. This is third world stuff. And yet we are the richest country in the world. So as I'm seeing this, all I'm thinking is who is going to be the next person, the next notable person to have this slip up? Because we have had so many already, and we will have so many more. These folks really think Puerto Ricans are not American citizens. It's remarkable. It's remarkable. I'm flabbergasted. But then the nationalism comes into play, which is also just nonsense. Hey man, you say anything bad about this country, you should leave. You should go back to your country. Since when is criticizing America anti-American? Let's go over what we're criticizing it for. Let's go over how we can improve the means and the livelihoods of Americans. If I were to say something like that, he's saying I should leave. Hey, I think billionaires need to be taxed into oblivion, and we should allocate those resources so, like I discussed, our schools are better funded. We can fight climate change. We can have high-speed rail. We can have Medicare for all. We could have roads that work. We could also have rent be decreased. People can afford a home. We shouldn't be seeing veterans houseless on the streets. Apparently, that's anti-American to say. What Eric Dickerson wants you and many others to do is go with what is happening right now. And let me just say, everyone should be entitled to say whatever they want. But to say that if you are essentially critiquing America, that you are anti-American, that is beyond stupid. I'm sorry. It just is. It just really, really, really is. And I don't know where this came from Dickerson. I haven't checked his tweets. I haven't checked his TikTok. I haven't seen any of this stuff, but it is embarrassing to say this in the year of our Lord 2025. It is so embarrassing. You're a nationalist at this point. You're a nationalist. You think trying to hold the powerful accountable and shining a light on everything that's happening is a net negative for society. Can't ride with that, man.
Kyron Lacy was supposed to be in the NFL. Kyron Lacy was accused of something and being investigated for something that he didn't do, and he died having to live with the guilt and the consequences of a guilty man knowing he was innocent. It recently was discovered that he was 72 yards away from the crash, that police and state policemen tried to coerce and doctor and use ways to manipulate statements that put this young man behind bars. They changed his joy, they changed his life, and eventually he took his own life. This was supposed to be a career, but at least he was supposed to be here. At some point throughout his career, I would expect to have said his name. So I'm gonna say his name tonight.
Amen.
Kyron Lacy was innocent. Kyron Lacy should be here with us. Nothing will ever repair or replace the pain that their parents, that his parents have to feel and his loved ones have to feel. But we could say his name. There were so many stations that ran the fact that he was being investigated. So I wanted to make sure here with Scott, we could say that he was an innocent man and at least know that he has that as he rests.
You and I talked about this earlier tonight, and I'll just share with them what I share with you. I can't recall ever seeing something that made me react viscerally to the point that I felt like my hands were trembling to think that there's video that shows that this is not at all what happened.
Ryan Clark of ESPN, formerly of the NFL and the LSU football program, spoke on the tragedy of Kyron Lacey. Lots of reactions here, and unfortunately, they were negative. Very, very, very negative. Let's start here. Jack Mack, of no surprise, Barstool Sports, tweeted, Kyron Lacey is wanted on homicide charges. I tweet out a photo of Kyron Lacey pretending to shoot somebody, and I'm called a racist. All you can do is laugh. He would even reply to a tweet stating, maybe, just maybe, he's not a good guy. Now, for those unaware, Kyron Lacey was Louisiana State University's leading receiver in 2024. He was also a hopeful for the NFL draft. In December of 2024, there was a fatal crash where Herman Hall lost his life. In January, Lacey was arrested, charged with negligent homicide, felony hit and run with death, and reckless operation of a vehicle. The cops would go on to practically blame Kyron Lacey for what transpired. Just a few months later, in April, Lacey reportedly had a dispute with a family member, which led to a high-speed chase. He would crash his car and take his own life. Police claimed that the cause of the crash, and that when he fled the scene, that he was illegally passing the other vehicles, causing another car to take evasive action to avoid impact with Lacey's vehicle and crash into Hall's car. Or he would release his findings. And what's very important about this is that it would contradict what Louisiana State Police concluded, that Kyron Lacey was at fault here. Lacey's car, traveling behind, not in front of, the vehicles involved in the wreck, was some 70 yards away. His car would be spotted after said crash, driving around the wreckage. Ori released another damning video, how a trooper seemed to influence a written statement where he said, and I quote, make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes, and the brakes, had to slam on your brakes to avoid that charger, and the brakes locked up to avoid that charger. Why are you doing this? Is the bigger question. It would be corroborated that Lacey was going less than 30 miles an hour. Here's another quote from his lawyer. It is crucial to emphasize that Kyron Lacey didn't cause or contribute to the crash. There was no suspicion of alcohol or drug use involved. Furthermore, contrary to media reports, Lacey never returned to the scene of the accident. This is important, and this is via WBRZ. Lacey's lawyer said the driver of the second vehicle involved, the one that would crush Herman Hall's car, gave statements saying that this woman attempted to avoid the gold truck, which keeps coming back. The gold truck, the gold truck, the gold truck, okay? And she tried to avoid it, the gold truck, because she was behind it, rather than Lacey's green Dodge Charger. The report that he says is from the DA's investigation in their office said the trooper that was questioning said driver tried to recap what she was stating, but it contradicted her own statements. The next paragraph importantly reads, Ori would show body cam footage from the trooper getting the statement from the driver of the gold truck, and this was later on. The footage would show the trooper directing the driver once again, appearing to influence that police statement, saying you had to slam on your brakes to avoid that charger. Why would a trooper do this? Why? At this point, considering we know how some of these departments conduct themselves, I'm almost surprised that the body cam footage came out. So the driver of the gold truck said the woman driving the car behind him caused the wreck. when she tried to pull into the other lane to avoid hitting the back of said truck. Now, today we have this update. From Ori, he had no idea he caused this accident because he didn't think he caused the accident. He did not cause the accident. He told HTV in a must-see interview.
According to the video timestamp, at 12:03 p.m. and 54 seconds, a portion of the crash can be seen as it occurs. Moments before the crash, the gold pickup truck abruptly veers out of the northbound lane into a business, while the green Charger is approaching in the same lane. Immediately after the crash occurred, the green Charger was observed on surveillance video and by witnesses traveling through the crash scene and continues north on LA 20, failing to stop. At the same time, all other vehicles remain at the scene to provide assistance.
You have major cultural icons, big-time country music superstar. His name's Zach Bryan. He probably has tens of millions of Trump supporters in his audience, and he just released an anti-ICE song. I want to get your response to that, especially given what we've seen today.
You know, I heard that and listened to a little bit of it and extremely disappointed and disheartened, and actually I hope he understands how completely disrespectful that song is, not just to law enforcement, but to this country.
Two thoughts. The softball question came from propagandist Benny Johnson. Benny, according to some in the know, just come out of the closet already, man. Secondly, the disrespect coming from Noam and others in this admin is quite strong, as opposed to a singer-songwriter.
Growing anger and distrust that the American people are feeling toward the Trump administration and what they're seeing on the streets of American cities in the ICE raids has become so nearly universally disliked that it has even reached the traditionally conservative world of country music. Grammy Award-winning singer-songwriter Zach Bryan released a clip of a new song on social media directly calling out the cruelty of mass deportations. Bryan, who served in the Navy for 8 years, is a country superstar. His music has reached 16.2 billion streams on Spotify. And just last month, he set the record for the largest ticketed concert in U.S. history.
It's true. Zach Bryan, the 29-year-old country singer, has called out ICE and the deportations that we see every single day. He captioned it on Instagram, "The fading of the red, white, and blue."
To every single individual that has ever stood up and fought for our freedoms, he just compromised it all by putting out a product such as that, that attacks individuals who are just trying to make our streets safe. So, Zach, I didn't listen to your music. I'm happy about that today. Today that makes me very happy that I never once gave you a single penny to enrich your lifestyle if you truly believe what that song stands for. But I am going to go out and probably download some Jason Aldean songs, or John Rich songs,
Kid Rock.
Party, Kid Rock, any of those guys. Those guys know what it means to stand up for freedom. So I'm glad I didn't waste any money on Zach.
Guaranteed lie here. I sincerely doubt her Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, whatever, didn't randomly play a song of his, or that she was a fan, she definitely was, as fake a response as her face. It's almost perfect that he would not only caption it, "The fading of the red, white, and blue," but also include it in the song because, as we have discussed so many times, sports, like music and the arts, reflect the times. Bryan's song does just that. Of course, MAGA remains peeved.
This is the same guy who, he reportedly condemned officers as out of control and as a bunch of middle-aged white dudes arresting people. When another country singer condemned Bud Light after they partnered with Dylan Mulvaney, this trans activist, he declared in a now deleted tweet, "I just think insulting transgender people is completely wrong because we live in a country where we can all just be who we want to be. It's a great day to be alive," I thought. And you tell me whether this is going to have any sort of backlash for him, Charles, because you've got actual country music star John Rich tweeting out, "Who's ready for the Zach Bryan Dixie Chicks tour?" Probably a huge Bud Light sponsorship for this one.
There's so much to talk about in music, and politics is inevitably a downgrade. There is almost no piece of music that has ever been written that was improved by bringing day-to-day politics in. Maybe timeless
So true.
truths. But the things that are happening right now, that's so right now. Those could be tweets. I mean, that is the resistance piece du jour that he's put in there.
So many inaccuracies here, man. Let me see if I got this straight. No piece of music has ever been written that was improved by bringing day-to-day politics in it. Is this dude for real? Rage Against the Machine shined a light on many things. If you want to see those, check them out on demand. But in this video, Gitmo.
She had grown up in segregated Baltimore and she had promised herself she would never bow her head to any white man.
Billie Holiday sang of the innocent being abducted and lynched by white supremacist mobs in the classic Strange Fruit.
Tell me about music as a political weapon, which you've used it as.
Oh, now, that's a hard one. As a political weapon, it has helped me for 30 years defend the rights of American blacks and third world people all over the world, to defend them with protest songs. And it helps to change the world.
Nina Simone, by the way, thinks all of y'all are idiots. On that point about John Rich that Kelly laughed at, just riddle me this. Do you laugh at Dana White for striking a deal with the beer company? Of course you didn't, Megan. Because y'all care more about the culture war and attacking the marginalized above all else to uphold white supremacy. At Kid Rock shows, he was seen not only selling, but drinking Bud Light. Did you laugh at him? Did you mock him? Come on, did you make some jokes about the 54-year-old performer, Megan? Oh, you didn't? Oh, shock. Meanwhile, in Zach Bryan's new song, the White House couldn't pass up the opportunity to comment, while Zach Bryan wants to open the gates to criminal illegal aliens and has condemned heroic ICE officers. Something in the orange tells me a majority of Americans disagree with him and support President Trump's great American revival. Godspeed, Zach, said the out-of-touch spokesperson Abigail Jackson in a statement. These positions are not popular. Bryan would respond to the backlash, as cited by Variety.com. To see how much blank it stirred up makes me not only embarrassed, but kind of scared, wrote the Navy vet, who claimed in the past he does not stand on either side of the political aisle, and is trying to reiterate that now in the face of a firestorm that is coming his way. Left wing or right wing, he said, we're all one bird and American. To be clear, I'm on neither of these radical sides. My follow-up would be, tell me about the radicalism that you see on the left. Bryan would add another message. I wrote this song months ago. I posted this song 3 months ago as a snippet. This shows you how divisive a narrative can be when shoved down our throats through social media. This song is about how much I love this country and everyone in it more than anything. When you hear the rest of the song, you will understand the full context that hits on both sides of the aisle. Everyone using this now as a weapon is only proving how devastatingly divided we all are. We need to find our way back. He would add, I serve this country. I love this country. And the song itself is about all of us coming out of this divided space. I wasn't speaking as a politician or some greater than thou a-hole, just a 29-year-old man who is as confused as everyone else. To see how much blank it stirred up makes me not only embarrassed, but kind of scared. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYT Sports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.